It's just gone 6:30 and you're watching East Midlands Today. Tonight, long jail sentences for 10 men convicted of trafficking cocaine.
Why a major Derbyshire drugs investigation prompted an appeal from the US rapper 50 Cent.
I've been flown into a military base in Rutland to see what the government claims is a world first, a programme designed specifically to train elite service women.
I'm in a village where residents say they are sick of fighting a plague of flies.
Well, the heat has attracted all kinds of insects and wildlife, but whether you've loved it or loathed it, just how long will this heat wave last?
Hello and welcome to Friday's East Midlands Today with me, Emily Williamson. Good evening. First tonight, 10 men are beginning long prison sentences after a major drugs investigation in Derby which prompted an appeal from a global celebrity. The rapper 50 Cent asked for one of them to be released on bail to work on his European tour. Derby Crown Court heard that Samir Hassan was part of a trafficking network that sold cocaine to organised crime groups in Chaddeston and Sinfin. Now, the police say this is the first time they've seized cryptocurrency from criminals here in the East Midlands. Our social affairs correspondent Jeremy Ball reports.
50 Cent's a musician and entrepreneur whose tracks about a gangster lifestyle sold millions of albums worldwide. But his European tour last year was affected by a real-life police investigation that had nothing to do with the star. Samir Hassan had been a trusted member of the rapper's entourage for years. Hassan's arrest in Derby prompted him to write to the judge.
So this is the letter that was sent by, as it says there, Curtis Jackson, known professionally as 50 Cent.
That letter said he needed Samir Hassan to run his catering and brand presence at European tour venues.
And a kind of reassurance, I suppose, from 50 Cent to say we'll be flying privately to all these destinations. And
his signature at the bottom.
And his signature, and that's directed to the judge.
And he asked for Hassan to be granted bail because he was a critical part of the tour.
Massively surprised, and I think when you get something like that coming, it's quite a unique moment, and I think the team were a little bit shocked. And you obviously think it's fake to start with, and then obviously we had to understand what it meant and stuff. So it's always one of those things that you'll probably never forget as part of an investigation.
Samir Hassan's one of 10 men who've been jailed today for conspiracy to supply cocaine. He was named in court as Abdi Rahim Hassan. The prosecution said he was heavily involved with national cocaine trafficking, visiting Derby to collect payments. 50 Cent's not alleged to have known about his prospective tour members' activities. Hassan received 8.5 years as he was sentenced with 3 suppliers who brought the drug into Derby. Harminder Purawell was jailed for 20 years. Several of their customers were sentenced too. They were cocaine wholesalers in Chaddeston and Sinfin. And this is how they were arrested. This is Max Bowler. Watch him throw evidence over the fence before he's caught and handcuffed.
Get your hands behind your back. Silver block.
That evidence, a kilogram block of cocaine. These banknotes too. Dominic Hulland ran the Chaddeston group.
Whoa!
Tonight he's beginning a sentence of 16.5 years.
Right,
Police found Hulland had knives and a machete to protect his turf.
Stay where you are. Watch my dogs, please watch my dogs.
He tried to cover his tracks by exchanging drugs for digital cryptocurrency.
We found he was clearly using that rather than cash to store the money from the cocaine he was selling and then launder that back into either assets to make purchases or to buy further drugs. It's the first time we've seen it being operated in, and so to actually get that, be able to seize it and prove their kind of connection has been really invaluable.
Tony Lewis was supplying Hulland's group. He was arrested in Derby as he prepared to move to Dubai, a city which he'd visited frequently to organise cocaine shipments. This camera caught Lewis making a handover to Hulland's uncle, Alan. And this is how Alan Hulland was arrested, with this bag of cocaine in his car.
Some of the drugs are being sort of literally boated in uniquely on small boats, which is quite ironic with obviously the drive around small boats and deliveries happening off the coast and then being vanned into the East Midlands area. These were regular drop-offs, so we are talking hundreds of kilos that would have been quite uniquely coming in for Derbyshire consumption. They were a really significant group.
Hands behind your back.
And today Aaron O'Donnell, who ran the Sinfin group, was jailed for almost 15 years. Several of his accomplices are due to be sentenced in the next few weeks. Jeremy Ball, BBC East Midlands Today, Derby.
Next tonight, a teenager has gone missing in the River Derwent in Derby. Emergency services were called out after 2 young men were seen getting into difficulty in the water this afternoon. Our reporter Steve Beach sent this from the scene.
The alarm was raised here in Darley Abbey at around about 1:45 this lunchtime. Reports that 2 men in their teens were in the river in difficulty. Derbyshire police said the younger teenage boy was safely removed from the water and a search was launched involving both Derbyshire Fire and Rescue and the East Midlands Ambulance Service for the older man. Today's is the latest in a series of water-related incidents across the country during the recent heat waves. In May, a 19-year-old man died in a lake in Balderton near Newark. And last weekend, the body of a man was recovered from Watermead Country Park in Leicestershire. Much of the scene has been cordoned off, and during the course of the afternoon, an underwater search unit from Nottinghamshire Police is brought in as part of the investigation. The police say the family of the man are being kept up to date with how things are going and also are urging people in the area to stay away while the investigation continues. Steve Beach, BBC East Midlands Today, Darley Abbey in Derby.
In other news, Derbyshire firefighters have returned to the scene of the Tintwistle Moor wildfire. The Fire and Rescue Service was first called to the incident just over 2 weeks ago. 5 fire engines and a water carrier are currently dealing with a flare-up in the woodland area close to the A628. The service says there may be some disruption for motorists. Anglian Water say there's now a hosepipe ban in place across Rutland and Lincolnshire. There are restrictions on using hosepipes for washing cars, watering gardens and cleaning patios. They say it comes as the 3rd heatwave of the summer continues across the region. Meanwhile, East Midlands Railway is continuing to advise passengers to only travel if essential due to the impact of hot weather on services. There's an amber heat health alert covering much of the EMR network over the weekend. The company's introduced a temporary amended timetable designed to protect the wider railway. Customers are being encouraged to check their journey before travelling and, where possible, travel before midday when temperatures are expected to be lower. You're watching East Midlands Today, and coming up on the programme, we meet the residents battling flies in a Nottinghamshire village.
Oh, you missed. How did you miss?
You've had more practice, I think.
Penalties, David.
No, I wouldn't be. Yeah. So I'm guessing you got quite good at that.
Well, I don't know. Honestly, they are so frustrating, these things. You think you'd be able to get them every time.
Ah, see, it's not that easy.
No. Oh, I know it isn't.
Next tonight, this year marks a decade since the ban on women serving in ground combat roles was lifted. Now, for the first time, the Ministry of Defence has published a blueprint designed to support women through the gruelling training required to reach the front line. Up until now, the recommendations around nutrition and equipment have been focused almost entirely on the male body. The new guide was launched at Kendrew Barracks in Rutland, as our political editor Peter Saul reports.
Rutland Water viewed from a unique vantage point, a Chinook helicopter, an awesome display of military hardware in the skies above the East Midlands, and it's landing here at Kendrew Barracks, which has some of the Armed Forces' best sports facilities. So what better place to launch the first ever guide designed specifically to support women training for ground combat.
The kit and equipment wasn't made for me, but I made it work, and that's very much an attitude within the Armed Forces. We kind of get on with it and make it work, don't we? So it's just what you do at the time. But now, obviously, get females entering the Armed Forces, that everything's more tailored for us, so you don't have to make it work and you don't have to break your back to achieve it.
Years of research on the female body have gone into this guide, which recommends training, nutrition and equipment tailored for women, factoring in the impact, for example, of the menstrual cycle.
The changes of that cycle can have implications for muscle health and for bone health. If periods change, if the menstrual cycle change, we want women to think, okay, this is a signal that something in my life is out of kilter. And then they can, from the guide, they can see, well, has their sleep changed? Are they sleeping less? Are they stressed more? Have they got a life stressor? Have they been on field exercise? Or have they eaten less? Because the energy is really important to keep the menstrual cycle going.
Those behind this initiative also insist it is not a case of lowering the bar. Women will still have to meet the same rigorous standards as men. With a debate raging about cash for defence and the armed forces' ability to defend the country, this is an attempt by the government to show that the UK can be world leading. But many will question why it's taken until now, 2026, to provide this support to women who are expected to go on the front line.
We brought service women onto the front line in 2016. From then, we've started to gain and gather data, and to do that, that takes some time. The numbers in the combat arm weren't that great. They are growing. And so it's taken 10 years worth of gathering data for us to be able to produce what is world-class performance guidelines.
10 years after the restrictions on women in ground combat roles were lifted, though, still only 2% of those roles are done by women. They're pedalling against centuries of male domination, but our military is at least trying to move with the times. Peter Saul, BBC East Midlands Today.
Let's take a look at some of the stories on the BBC News website this evening. A second person arrested on suspicion of murder after a man was found dead in a caravan in Leicestershire has been bailed. Razor blades have been found in a sandpit in a play park in Beeston. The park's been closed and police are now looking at CCTV footage in the area. And he was the first ever player of Asian heritage to play for England. Now Frank Sue from Buxton has been given a blue plaque by Historic England. You can find all those stories and more on the BBC News website and BBC News app. Well, next tonight, a BBC presenter from Derbyshire is spearheading a campaign to encourage people to find out about their risk of hereditary cancers. Becky Measure's mum, Wendy Watson, was the first woman in the UK to choose to have her breast removed, despite not having been diagnosed with cancer. She made the decision after discovering how many of her family members had developed the disease. Becky later underwent the same procedure after having been told she too might have a rare gene mutation. Monica Plaha reports.
Oh yeah, they're gorgeous.
Quality time at her mum's home in North Derbyshire. Like most mothers and daughters, Becky Measures and Wendy Watson share a close bond. They also share something else, a rare gene mutation which significantly increases their risk of breast and other cancers.
I discovered that there were 9 relatives. I went to be checked frequently to catch it early. Then I thought, this is crazy. I'm waiting to get it and then hoping that I've caught it in time. Why don't I choose to have the surgery now? Then I know I've caught it in time.
33 years ago, Wendy became the first woman in the UK to undergo elective surgery to remove both her healthy breasts to prevent cancer. She has since run a helpline for people keen to find out if they too have the BRCA gene.
There was no gene test. The gene hadn't even been found.
Yeah, I knew that, but before you'd even got to talk to anybody about genetics, you just said, no, I just want the boobs removing.
It was just a logical conclusion.
In 2004, 22-year-old Becky faced a dilemma. Should she too undergo the same preventative surgery as her mother? A decision she said was made easier once her second cousin Helen had been diagnosed with breast cancer, aged just 29.
She said if what happened to her saved me, then it's fine. Yeah. And I just think that's like, it's a big thing, isn't it? You know.
2 years later, Becky went ahead with the operation, and 20 years on, she has no regrets.
I was young, I was scared, because I didn't know what it was going to look like, going to feel like. I just had to be okay with the fact that it was the right thing to do. I do remember sitting on your knee 3 weeks before the surgery and just saying, I'm scared.
Yeah, and I said, well, it's okay to be scared and you can always back out.
Yeah, you did, and you know, that was never going to be the case.
Becky's now using hers and Wendy's experiences to encourage others to assess their own risk of hereditary cancers, thanks to BBC Radio Derby's It Starts With You campaign. And their message is clear. Taking early action really can make all the difference. Monica Plaha, BBC East Midlands Today, Chesterfield.
Well, what is hereditary cancer and how do you start conversations with your family about it? Well, Karen Potts is the lead familial cancer specialist at Derby and Burton hospitals.
Hereditary cancer is that you're already born with a genetic alteration in one copy of your gene. So most of us have 2 copies of each gene, but when it's hereditary, you are born with a genetic alteration. Whereas a sporadic cancer is thought over your lifetime that genetic alterations occur and damage your genes, and that can lead to a cancer. So I think it's important to talk to other family members to have the discussion to see what cancers are in the family, what ages cancers occurred and what types of cancer. And then if they have got concerns following those conversations, then see their GP and discuss those concerns with their GP is the first thing to do.
Well, it's time for the sport now with Charlie, and I suspect all eyes are on England this weekend.
Yeah, pretty much all of the green around us at the moment is probably a bit of a giveaway. It's probably the only place I can start as well. That is the World Cup, tomorrow's quarter-final between England and Norway in Miami. This tournament has been something of a wanderlust for fans from the East Midlands who are travelling across continents following the 3 Lions. And tonight, I think I've found 3 people from Derby who might just be in the midst of the best week of their lives. And they are Ollie, Luke and Mark from Mickleover to Miami. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. What a week you've had. Can you just talk me through it a little bit? Look at the smiles on those faces.
That's the sun blinding my eyes. Well, what a week we've had from flying out into Mexico City to chanting with the Mexicans, being on the tube with them on the way into the Azteca, arriving into the Azteca to the boos and jeers of the Mexicans. Oh, the emotions in that stadium were something that'll stay with us for forever and ever.
Luke, it does sound like the trip of an absolute lifetime. And can you believe that it is going almost as swimmingly as it has been so far? It's not very English.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely a trip of a lifetime. We can't believe that Azteca game. Yeah, it's been amazing. A lifetime experience and so many memories just at this World Cup. So what an experience. We don't want to go home. We want to stay as long as we can and just carry on, win the World Cup.
Will the wallet eventually necessitate that you have to go home?
I don't know. I think we're going home. I think we've got to go home, but we don't want to. But yeah, we'll have reality will kick in eventually, and we'll have to go home. But at the minute, we're not. So we're staying here.
It all depends if the wife's watching this.
You might well be in trouble then, Mark. But you've only just landed in Miami. Can you tell me what are the vibes like there already?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, this morning you're in a bar at 8 o'clock and it's absolutely buzzing. Everybody's having a party atmosphere. Even the Norwegians are rowing past you. It's just a great laugh. Everybody's sort of getting on with each other. It's wonderful to be here. But yeah, I mean, if the missus is tuning in, yeah, I'm coming home after the quarterfinals. Look. But I might have lost my passport, and I might not get back till after the final.
And yes, and if she is watching, you also weren't in a bar at 8 o'clock this morning. How confident are you then, guys?
No, to be fair, she knows me well, so does most of us.
How confident are you then going into the game against Norway? You've all got tickets. You're all going to be in that stadium.
A lot more confident than we were against the Mexicans. I think we'll be comfortable. No, I am. Let's take one game at a time.
There's no chance that you guys are coming home, though, if they do win. You're staying there all the way to the final, right?
You'll get me in trouble.
Well, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to do that. Fellas, thank you ever so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Keep enjoying the trip of a lifetime.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
And good evening to Mark's wife. You can listen to tomorrow night's game live on BBC Sounds and BBC Radio 5 Live. Until then, more football news. Nottingham Forest new head coach Oliver Glasner been busy today assembling his backroom team. And Europa Conference League triumphs. The World Cup is, of course, not the only show in town this weekend, with the World Superbikes racing into the East Midlands. Thousands of petrolheads are descending upon Donington for one of the hottest race weekends for many a year. The focus of their attention will be on local stars like the Lowe's twins, Alex and Sam, who are based a stone's throw from the famous circuit, which I was at earlier today. Yes, the heat is on in the race for the World Superbike title, so it's kind of fitting that Donington is the next stop because it is absolutely baking. How on earth are you coping with the heat in all those leathers?
I'm used to it, unfortunately. There are a lot of races in the summer in Italy and Spain. The last few rounds have been really hot, so it's nice to actually say it's really hot here in England, but I try and tell the mechanics that it's always like this. They don't believe me.
Alex Lowes and his twin brother Sam call Donington home. The pair are based not too far away from the track, and with Alex currently 4th and Sam 5th in the standings, there's nothing like a bit of sibling rivalry to spice things up.
We've always had that for the last 35 years, so nothing's changed. Obviously, we're going to want to try to beat each other this weekend. I'll do my best. I'm sure he will. It's going to be good fun.
Another local favourite is Tara Mackenzie, who's been coming to Donington for practically his entire life. Sadly, he won't race this weekend after crashing today in practice, suffering a concussion with suspected collarbone and ankle fractures. A bitter pill to swallow for Taz, who told me prior to the accident what this weekend means to him.
I had a smile on my face, like genuinely, like it just brought back a lot of good memories for me here. And we've had horrible weekends here in the past, and now we've got a heat wave. Maybe it's a little bit too hot at times, but just happy to be here. Want to enjoy the moment, enjoy the weekend, and just try and get the best results possible.
Tens of thousands of race fans will be braving the heat at Donington this weekend to watch the guys in action. But spare a thought for those riders. Under 10 kilos of leather and a few pounds of sweat. And we wish Taz Mackenzie a very speedy recovery. All eyes now, Emily, then of course, England against Norway, particularly your eyes. You've got split loyalties, right?
I certainly have. I've got them in the sweepstake, but also, I don't know if you remember a Forest player from the 90s, Lars Bohinen.
Not as well as you.
Yeah, I was so obsessed with him that I bought a Norwegian phrase book so that I could talk to him, and this is the phrase I said to him. Jeg snakker ikke norsk good, men kan du skrive navnet ditt her?
That's easy for you to say. What
We've
did it mean?
just translated it. It says, I don't speak Norwegian, that's fine, can you write? I'll leave it with you.
Fair play to you.
Our next story comes with a bit of a trigger warning, I'm afraid, because it's all about flies invading homes in Nottinghamshire. Yuck. Villagers in Calverton say whenever it gets hot, their homes and businesses are swarmed by the insects. I'm not enjoying this. And they want something done about it. They claim the number of flies is much higher than it should be, even for summer, and they're having to keep the doors and windows shut to keep the bugs out. David Pitton reports.
One villager is having to take some pretty extreme measures to deal with a fly problem.
I got this about, it was quite recently, this year actually, because when it started to get really bad, the racket, they keep breaking, so I thought I needed something that was easier and kill them quicker.
He says in one sweep of his kitchen, he managed to kill more than 80 flies. While Luke may have improved his shot, the bugs are a serious problem.
You could have 10 flies touching you at one point in time, so then you shake and then they all fly off, and then within seconds they're all back on you. If you cooked a nice meal and then you're looking down and you've got 2 flies touching your meal, 2 flies on your arm, 2 flies on your leg, it becomes quite disgusting. They're small creatures, but when there's lots of them, they have a big effect.
But it's not just Luke who's got this problem. Every summer, homes and businesses across Calverton are being invaded.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's probably 5, 6 flies in there already. This is more than just the normal fly infestation, if you like, that we get most summers. There's just hundreds of them all the time, and people sit with like little beer mats on top of the glass so they don't go in the glass. We've got fly swatters everywhere, we've got fly zappers. I suppose, like everybody in the village, I feel a bit frustrated in that members keep complaining to us about the flies, and it's like we've tried everything to get rid of them and they just seem to be multiplying each day.
Viv and Luke both say it's only been a problem in recent years, and it seems to be getting worse.
Residents are telling me they're really angry about it, and quite rightly really. We want the Environment Agency to categorically state the reason why we've got this plague of flies, and to get them to put the measures in place to stop it.
No cause has yet been identified, and both the local council and the Environment Agency say they're looking into it. They say the hot weather makes the problem worse, and they're giving out pest control advice at potential sources. But residents like Luke just want it sorted as a matter of urgency.
I just want someone to look into it, find a solution, and just get the flies gone, because, yeah, it's a pain.
Oh, David Pittam, BBC East Midlands Today, Calverton.
Don't really know what to say after that. Time for a look at the weather with Anna. Is it me, Anna, or is it really hot today?
Yeah,
really hot.
Today's the hot day. Today's a day that we've had the temperatures peaking here in the East Midlands. Day 6 for some of us of the current heat wave. But our weather watchers, hopefully safely, have been out and about, sending in some absolutely stunning photos as usual. Beautiful blue skies right across the East Midlands, just a little bit of fair weather cloud here and there. But actually, Derbyshire was the hottest place in the UK today. 35.2 degrees Celsius was recorded. Now, I mentioned today probably was the peak of the temperatures. They will edge down a little bit, still warm, if not hot, actually, through tomorrow, but they won't be quite as hot as today. So high pressure is still sort of holding on, but edging away a little bit over the weekend and allowing for a different airflow, which helps to edge those temperatures down a little bit further across the weekend and into the start of next week. It's a sunny, still hot evening out there at the moment. Now, last night was really quite sticky and uncomfortable to sleep, wasn't it? Tonight, I'm hopeful the temperatures will drop a little bit lower, so maybe a little bit more comfortable, 14, 15 degrees Celsius as a minimum. Starting to see a little bit of low cloud, maybe some fog as well, developing in a few places to start Saturday morning. But any of that will gradually clear off as we progress through the morning as the temperatures start to rise. So another dry day, lengthy sunny spells expected. I think for most of us, just sitting shy of 30 degrees Celsius. We keep that northeasterly breeze as well. Into Sunday, we'll notice that temperatures come down a little bit further. Again, some fog around, low cloud first thing in the morning, but then the sunshine starts to come out during the afternoon. Temperatures sitting around the mid-20s, 25, 26 degrees Celsius. Now, into the start of next week, we keep those mid-20s temperatures, but we start to see them edging back up as we go into the middle of the week. There is thoughts, though, from Friday and into the weekend, we'll see a change in weather pattern.
Thanks, Anna. That's all for tonight. Monica's back with your late news. Until then, have a lovely evening. And if you're watching tomorrow night, come on, England. See you then. Bye.